Are your words building up or are they tearing people down? Welcome to the Daily Devo. I am Vince Miller. We're in a brand new series on the book of 1 Samuel, and we are currently in chapter 1. The theme of chapter 1, we determined, are the 6 people who influenced Samuel's life. So far, we have identified Elkanah, Peninnah, Hannah, and then today is Eli, who is Israel's judge and priest. So today I'm going to read verses 9 through 17. It's a lengthy text, but we're going to pick up on this interaction between Hannah and Eli, focusing in on Eli. Here's how the text reads. It states, after they had eaten, that's the family of Hannah, had eaten, Hannah rose. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting on the seat beside the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. She, Hannah, was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your servant and remember me and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head. As she continued praying before the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was speaking in her heart, only her lips moved, and her voice was not heard. Therefore, Eli took her to be a drunken woman. And Eli said to her, how long will you go on being drunk? Put your wine away from you. But Hannah answered, no, my lord, I am a woman troubled in spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord. Do not regard your servant as a worthless woman, for all along I have been speaking out of my great anxiety and vexation. Then Eli answered, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition that you have made to him. And she said, let your servant find favor in your eyes. Then the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad. I love this. Eli is an interesting character in Samuel's story. I really don't want to give too much away because you're going to get to see more of his story in the next 4 chapters, concluding with his tragic death from falling off of a chair. So I kind of want to hold off on giving those details here. But in this immediate text, we do catch a glimpse of Eli's character. We see that he's quick to make a judgment about a very humble and reverent woman. And who knows exactly why Eli does this, but he does. And I think it's kind of interesting because he's supposed to be a judge. In fact, most theologians consider him to be one of the final judges of Israel. In fact, in the notes below, I put a sequential list of the judges so you can just see how many there were and how they culminated in Eli and, of course, in Samuel. Now, regardless, Eli's time marks the beginning of the end. As we will see, one of his failings was his lack of leadership as a father, which was a big black mark on his record as a priest and a judge. Yet we have to give him a little bit of credit here because he does extend an important blessing to Hannah. And this blessing would result in a son. That son's name was Samuel. He would soon be conceived and born and raised and ironically mentored by Eli, who would then replace him and then end the time of the judges. Fascinating. You know, I think it's super interesting sometimes how God does things. But I think it's super interesting here that one man can speak both a cursing and a blessing from the same mouth. Isn't that fascinating? A cursing and a blessing can come from the same man and both be very powerful. Very, very powerful. You know, my mouth has great power to speak amazing truths about Jesus that can lead people to Jesus Christ. At the same time, my mouth can also speak sarcasm and hurtful things that wound other people. In addition, the older I get, the more I see the effect of my words. I was just telling my wife the other day that our 3 children speak the way that they do to each other sometimes because of my biting sarcasm. I noticed it in them. And now when I watch them do what I do, I actually don't like it so much because I know it can be taken too far and can wound other people in the family. At the same time, I am still humbled by how God uses my mouth to affect other people spiritually. There are testimonies that I have heard time and time again from others about things that I have said that have forever affected their lives. It's amazing, isn't it? That my mouth can have both a powerful effect in two different ways. It's sobering and humbling at the same time. But guess what? This is true with you. And it's true with you, just like it was true with Eli. So do me a favor today. Speak a blessing. Speak a blessing to your wife, to your children, to a friend, to a neighbor, to a peer. And when you say it, mean it, look them in the eyes, and make sure you have their undivided attention. And then speak it clearly and see if God doesn't alter your impact. I love you guys. I pray this has blessed you. If it has, share it with someone else. And I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.